With each passing day, honesty is becoming more and more rare because of the fact that with the climate the way it is today, with things like wokeism and political correctness running amok, people, for the most part, are afraid of offending everyone else. And that's a big problem, especially, like, for example, in the case of parents, right? And the fact that they can't be honest with their children anymore, be it those children grow up in a single or two-parent household. Either way, it's the case. However, with this scene right here from the movie Fences, starring Denzel Washington, uh, that's a complete opposite. Because of the fact that this particular movie focuses and centers around the 50s, right? Where during that time period, people of that generation who were parents, for the most part, were very honest. They were straightforward. This case was strict. Um, some cases tough as nails. They told like it was, right? And they were all about tough love as a means of strengthening their children and toughen them up so they can have thick skin when they go out and venture into the world for themselves and start their own lives, right? And for the character of Troy here, um, no other actor could have done this role more justice than Denzel Washington. Him and even James Earl Jones, who who was the original character of Troy in the 1987 version of the Broadway show slash movie Fences. All right, both of them, both are different, but both really encapsulate this particular scene for me, and how it shows how parents, particularly fathers, for the most part, were really teaching their children life lessons, and how for the most part, life ain't all just about sunshine and rainbows, and it's not all just going to be all peachy clean. No, for the most part, there are going to be obstacles in life that you have to deal with, and those obstacles include people. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that with this particular scene, and the fact, honestly, again, um, Denzel did his role a lot of justice, and it's to be expected because throughout his legendary career in Hollywood and cinema, he has captivated audiences around the world with his Emmy award winning performances, like in Training Day, Malcolm X, Man on Fire, The Equalizer, right? And with this movie right here, Fences, so on and so forth. That's how good he is. And I'll have and much like I said, much respect to him. Big time. But anyway, aside from that, I want to go ahead and delve into this scene because honestly it is has a lot of nuance to it, and it is a lot to be taken from it. So I'm gonna show what I mean about that right now. So without further ado, let's get it.
You just now coming here from leaving this morning?
Yeah, I had to go to football practice.
Yeah, what?
Yes, sir.
You know, I ain't but 2 seconds off you no way. That garbage sitting in there overflowing, you ain't done none of your chores. Now you coming here talking about, yeah.
I was just getting ready to do my chores now, Pop.
Your first chore is to help me with this fence on Saturday. Everything else come after that. Now, get that saw, we're gonna cut these boards.
Hey, Pop.
Hmm.
Why don't you buy a TV?
What I want with a TV? What I want one of them for?
Everybody got one. Earl, hey, bro, Jesse.
I ain't asked you who had one. I said what I want with one.
So you can watch it. They got lots of things on TV. Baseball and everything.
Yeah?
We could watch the World Series.
Yeah, how much this TV cost?
I don't know. They got them on sale for about $200.
$200?
That ain't that much, Pop.
No, that's just $200. You see that roof you got sitting over your head at night? Let me tell you something about that roof. It's been 10 years since that roof was last tarred. See now, Now, snow come this winter, sit up on that roof like it is. It's gonna seep inside, just gonna be a little bit. You ain't gonna hardly notice it. Then the next thing you know, it's gonna be leaking all over the house. Then the wood rot from all that water, and you're gonna need a whole new roof. Now, how much you think it costs to get that roof fixed?
I don't know.
$264 cash money, see? While you be thinking about a TV, I got to be thinking about the roof or whatever else go wrong around here.
Now that right there is the first sign of maturity and responsibility that the character of Denzel is teaching his son. It's very important because I understand a lot. Look, hey, all of us have things we want to do in life, things we want to buy, be it like a TV set, stereo, a Walkman. Well, particularly not in this case, but like if you're growing up in the '80s or so, you know that's outdated. But you know that video games, PlayStation, Xbox, things like that. Um, you know, materialistic things. We all have those wants and desires, but sometimes you have to learn to put that on hold and focus on more important things first, right? Like in regards of a TV, like a fence, would it be a fence for your house, a garden, a roof, um, whether it be parts of your car, paying your bills, right? All things like that. The more important things they should definitely come first. So that way, all the more important things are taken care of. And if you have a little left on the side, then you can kind of do some of the things you want. So I definitely agree with that with this sentiment right here.
Now, if you had $200, what would you do? Fix the roof or buy a TV?
I'd buy a TV. And when the roof started to leak, if it needed fixing, I'd fix it.
Where you gonna get your money from? You don't spend it on TV. You gonna sit up in there and let that water run all over your brand new TV?
No, Papa, you got the money. I know you do.
Where I got it at, huh?
In the bank.
You want to see my bank book? You want to see that $73.22 I got sitting up in there?
You don't have to pay for it all at one time. You could put a down payment on it and carry it on with you.
Not me. I ain't gonna nobody nothing if I can help it. Miss a payment, they come and snatch it right out your house. Then what you got? Huh?
Another good point. I do. Yeah. Gotta be careful of people stealing things, especially today. And people, in the cases of people breaking into other people's home and stealing things without a care in the world, man. Like they don't even care if they even get caught doing it. Whether they get seen, like it's just what it is, right? Now I do agree with some of what the son said about a down payment if you have a TV, pay it down. But let's be real. I mean, I understand given the fact that during this time period, a television that costs what $200, that was a bit of that was a substantial amount of money to a degree. But today, you have TVs out here, and I don't mean like those little box set TVs. I mean like big flat screen TVs that are like $1,000+ right? And yeah, you can still do a down payment on it, but hey, that down payment might that's going to cost you an arm and a leg too, man. So, hey, depending on your circumstance, if you can afford it, go for it. But if not, yeah, don't pursue it. Again, I know there are those of us who are TV buffs who have certain TV shows, sitcoms, and movies that we like to watch. Things of that nature is very understandable, but I mean, look, there is nothing that good on TV to where if you having a down payment, you have to pay all that money, man. Especially if you can't afford it. Especially if it's going outside of your means. You know what I mean? I mean, whew, man, it's gonna cost you a headache, and it's gonna cause your wallet a headache.
See? Now, when I get $200 clear, I'll buy me a TV. Right now, when I get $264, I'm gonna get that roof fixed.
Oh, Pop.
You go and get you 200 and buy you a TV if you want to. I got better things to do with my money.
I can't get $200. I ain't never seen $200.
I'll tell you what. You get $100, I'll put the other 100 with it.
All right, I'm gonna show you.
And you're gonna show me how you can cut these boards right now. There you go. That's $200 worth.
Now, for the most part, this scene right here, with the casual conversation flow between the father and son was very like lighthearted. enlightening, teaching the son about responsibility and putting more important things first, while at the same time having a little bit of humor. And that's very important, man, because we're at a time right now where it's hard for people to get along with each other, even in the cases of parents and their children. In fact, some of these households, these families can't stand each other, right? I mean, they can look all nice on the outside, but behind closed doors, it's it's basically hell on wheels, basically, right? A lot of turmoil. It could be a lot of vitriol, tension, being at each other's throats, all types of things. So that's why this is good right here, because again, this movie centers around what, the 50s, which means that before the whole civil rights movement, women's liberation movement, the peace movement, and all the other homosexual movement, all the other different movements that's been happening from the 60s up to today, the black family household structure was at its best especially when it comes to American history, because black marriages, for the most part, were the highest out of any all races and demographics of people, man. All right, it wasn't even close. That's how tight knit we were back then, right? And I gotta tell you, man, if our ancestors around this time period were still living today, if they were to take a glimpse at what our black family structure is like in the hood today, they'll be downright and outright ashamed and embarrassed of us, man. They would be. I'm to the degree I'm ashamed and embarrassed, man. And I'm not even in that age bracket. So again, man, just again, you know, it just goes to show you how important it is to just learn to get along with each other, man. At the end of the day. So with that being said, so there that's part of the scene completed, but now it's about to get serious here. It's about to get real, in which the son of Corey asks his father an honest question, and in turn, the character of Troy is going to give his son a very honest answer. So let's see what happens.
Can I ask you a question?
The hell you got to ask me, Mr. Stewicki, the one you got the questions for.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? What law is there say I got to like you? Want to stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you.
Again, still somewhat humorous the way he said it, but that question right there, the question that his son asked, that's the question that not only children who grew up in certain households with certain parents feel, but quite frankly, that's the mentality and mindset that a lot of the young people today, those who are under the category of Generation Z, feel as well. And so that's definitely one of the things I can take away from this scene right here off the bat. Not just between the parent and child and that dynamic, but the dynamic in real life. How a lot of the youth today just want to be liked so badly, man. To the fact to where if they don't get, like, for example, they take all the different Snapchat photos, right? On Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, and any other platform that you use, you get all these different you give all these different selfies, and if you don't get as many likes or thumbs ups or any type of validation that you want, you're going to think that there's something either wrong with you or the people, right? And if you go living your life like that, always seeking out the validation, for the most part, your life is not going to be fruitful. It's pretty much going to be stagnated. All right, so that's something that's very important to keep in mind.
Straighten up, goddammit.
Classic old school Puritan right there.
I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you?
None.
All right then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
Nigga, as long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat.
Now I know that fact. I know. I know. Again, this is the serious part right here, and and this was definitely within the script of this movie. But I find it funny how Denzel, when it comes to saying the N word, Denzel's not shy about it at all. I mean, there's definitely this movie, Training Day, all right, Malcolm X, and some of the other movies that he's been in where he's definitely said the N word before. So it's just, I'm sorry, I think that's probably his favorite curse word.
Eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
Got clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that is?
Because of you.
Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is?
Because you like me.
Like you.
Like, well, again, with the word like, you put that in quotes. Obviously, the reason he does these things, the reason why any parent does the things they do for the children, like you mentioned, like give them food, clothes, shelter, a warm bed at night to lay on, is because they love them, right? Now, this is another thing I could take away from uh, this scene right here in the movie because of the fact that, again, with people like Denzel, who are, those like him, who are, again, parents who were a part of this generation back then, they they loved their children. They just had a they had a very, I would say, somewhat old school fashioned way of showing it. Meaning they let their actions and their deeds speak for them. Yeah, right. They weren't all about, just saying it just willy nilly. Every day, every hour, every second, every minute. They weren't all about that. But they really did love they really did love their children. And that's what pretty much the character of Denzel is trying to pretty much tell his son in a roundabout way.
I go out of here every morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my
There you go. Another absolutely facts. That part he said about having to deal with them crackers. Hey, that was definitely the case back then. All right. Not just with the 60s, but 50s, and even going further back. All right. Where black men, when it came to taking care of their families and when certain jobs that they had to work at, man, they had to deal with a lot of racist BS. A lot of it. And they had to just take that stuff, man. And what would happen is that when they came home from work, there were cases of where they beat up their wives and even their children, man. Right? They abused them because of the fact that the black man had to pretty much had to control himself. He had to control all that anger and vitriol he had because of all that crap he was taking from work, and he took it out on those around him, right? And it's the same thing today with the black man in regards to corporate America, which we know for a fact. Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of BS around in that place, no doubt. I mean, to the point you have to pretty much walk on, not walk, but tippy toe on eggshells. You have to be careful to not land on any landmines, set anybody off, say the wrong thing. Pretty much follow from the script. Basically, you have to pretty much be a character. You can't be yourself, all right? Especially if you're an honest individual who is a truth teller. It can't happen that way. So you pretty much have to mask it. And that's why it's very important to, particularly for brothers and anybody else for the most part who deals with that same dynamic within the corporate America structure, to have your own business. How do you do that? by first getting into a profession, like a vocational trade school. You look to find something that is for you. All right, that's something that catches your eye, something that you're passionate about, and something that you're definitely courageous about. And those two things right there are missing: passion and courage. That's why many of these people who work in these 9 to 5 jobs, including corporate America, are downright miserable, man. They just are. Their life is stagnant. People who are at these jobs get on their nerves every day, trying to trying to provoke you in certain ways, man. Trying to set you off so that way you get in trouble, you get either written up or fired, and it just causes it's where you have a bad day, and it just causes even more strain on your life than you need to. So that's why it's important to exercise the level of freedom that you can in having your own. It's of the utmost importance, man.
Job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. Because I like you, because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Now let's get this straight right here and now.
Again, that's very true. Responsibility, and that's the same thing I mentioned in the Fresh Prince video that I did. Right, as a father, when you look to bring children into the world, man, you have to not only be there for them, but you have to set an example. You have to be able to teach them something, teach them the basic principles about life, how to able to live life, what to do, what pitfalls to avoid, people to be around, people not to be around, right? And try to go places in life where, you know, you can, in case you can make the most money, right? To support yourself and your family if you have one, right? And so on, right? That's what it's about for that perspective.
Before I go along any further, I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand.
See that part? Now that's them right there was that was honestly brutally honest right there because for a fact, now when it comes to the parent child dynamic, for the most part, yeah, I mean, parents are supposed to be their children's guardian, right? Their role model, right? Their example, right? Not so much their buddy or stuff like that. That's what you have. That's what you have friends for. That's what you have co-workers for, or associates. People like that. But when it comes to having people guide you on the right path, that's what a parent's supposed to do, particularly the father, especially in regards to the father teaches his son how to be a man, and also the father also teaches his daughters, right, on not so much teaches them, but he shows them the example of the type of man that their daughter should be married to and to have a family with. All right, so that's how it works for both sides. From the masculine side on how to be a man, and from the feminine side on what kind of man to expect to guide and to lead you.
Rand don't give me my money come payday because he like me. He give it to me because he owe me. Now, I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain.
Exactly. Another good part right there too, eh? Hey, procreation, man. Be fruitful and multiply. And on top of that, when you bring forth children into the world again, whether it be 1, 2, 5, 10, so forth, how many children you have? Again, man. So the utmost importance that you raise a strong family structure, right? Set your children on the right path so that they themselves can take what they learn from them, take what they learn from their parents, and then teach it to their children, and on, so forth, down generation after generation after generation. All right, that's how the family structure is supposed to go. Mm. And on top of that, when it comes to the father and mother deciding on bringing children to the earth, with that comes teaching them responsibility, teaching them how to carry themselves in a upright manner, dignified. And another one too, just going to be real, that for the most part, yeah, everyone is not going to like you in life. All right, in some cases, depending on the family you grew up in, there are going to be even certain people within your family who are not going to like you. All right, it could be immediate, it could be cousins, it could be uncles, aunts, aunties, grandma, grandpa. Depending. All right, so that's why I said it, because you could be the kindest, um, most passionate, compassionate, upstanding, moral type person that you can be, and there's still going to be people in life who are not going to like you. And I say that because we have to keep in mind Denzel is the same man who in real life stated, and I quote this: everyone is not going to like you because your spirit offends their demons, right? He said that. Now I'm somewhat paraphrasing it, but really, but to get it word for word, what he really said was, some people are not going to like you because your spirit offends their demons. But either way, that statement is 100% true. All right, because when you look at it from the highest level, that being the spiritual level, when you have that spirit on you from above, from the Most High Himself, the Almighty, that in itself is pretty much straight up going to offend people without you saying or doing anything wrong to anybody. That just shows you how strong that spirit is. All right, so you have to keep that in mind too. And other reasons why people are not going to like you, it could be various reasons. Things like the fact that most people in general do not like themselves. That's on one hand. It could be things like, um, it could be people not liking you because of who you are, depending on how you conduct and carry yourself. If it's in a downtrodden, negative, stereotypical type way, to where you pretty much, whether you're rude, nasty, condescending, arrogant, right, to people. Yeah, I mean, you should expect that. You should expect people to not just not like you, but downright can't stand you and don't want to be around you. There's that reason. There are also other reasons. They could be straight up petty, right? Petty, you know, whether it's thing to be petty, all that stuff. Especially if you're on a job, in corporate America, any other place, things like that. If you don't say hi to somebody, or you don't acknowledge them, that the way that you think they should be acknowledged, they might they get upset, they get offended, stuff like that. Those type of reasons. And other reasons are simply because of differences, preferences, right? It could be, like, for examples, like people not liking you because of your race, your gender, hint hint, your education, right, your background. It could be what type of car you have, what type of house you have, who you're with, if you whether be it your husband or wife or either side, right? It can be those things. It can be your beliefs politically, religiously, socially, etc. Right? You could be your height, whether you're tall, whether you're short, whether you're fat, whether you're skinny, somewhere in the middle in between. How much money you have, right? The type of clothes that you have, type of music you listen to. All right, there's etc. Man, there's a lot of reasons why people may not like you. But at the end of the day, you have to like yourself. But most importantly, love yourself. All right. So that way you don't have to, like you said, um, let that stop you from this living your life, man. All right, because people are going to pretty much going to think what they think about you anyway, be positive or negative. But but again, you have to make sure that within yourself, you're happy with who you are. You're happy with the way that you were created from day one in the womb, right? And things like that.
Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Then get the hell out of my face and get on down to that A&P.
Now that right there was that was the biggest takeaway from that scene, right? Cause that's definitely 100% facts right there. And like I basically just said it before, right? Because when you go through life always worrying about if some whether somebody likes you or not, that can stop you from getting ahead in life, accomplishing what you want to accomplish, doing the things that you want to do in life, whether it be traveling, whether it be starting your own business, right? Or meeting the type of person you want to start a life with, maybe grow together with, grow old, have a family with, all right? Things like that. I mean, there's again many reasons, many things you want to do. If you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a vision of what you want to do, what you want to become, you should go for it. And yes, there are going to be times when you're going to have people, even people within your own circle, are going to feel who are going to feel otherwise. They might feel a slight indifference towards you in that regard because because when you look to elevate in life, for the most part, what that basically means is that certain people that you were hanging around in your earlier years, you're not gonna be hanging around with as much, and that is going to that's probably at first thought that's probably they're going to get offended by that, and it might cause a relationship or friendship to come to a premature end. Honestly, but honestly, that's okay because it's showing you that they were not really your true friends anyway. Because you know, people who are your true friends are happy for you in regards to what you want to do in life. They congratulate you. They can support you in any way they can. They can still keep in contact with you, right? And things like that, so on and so forth. And they don't try to do anything to sabotage your dreams, right? And they're able to not compare compare what they have to what you have, make it a bit of a competition or competing with one another or anything like that. No, they're all about doing what they can do to make your life better, to make you a better person if they can. That's what it's about. Those are the type of relationships that people should have, not the opposite of people for the most part looking to tear you down because they're too busy focusing on what you're doing instead of focusing on what they should be doing, what gifts and talents that they have that they should be trying to maximize for their own gain, for their own relevance, and how it pertains to their life. All right. So it goes to show you, man. All right. Now it doesn't mean that you don't. Again, that's why it's important. You have to pretty much. You're gonna have to separate yourself from those people. Now that doesn't mean that you have any ill will towards them. No. You wish them well, and you still love them, but from a distance. All right. So that's pretty much the condition of the battle. All right. But anyway, I just wanted to just go ahead and delve into this scene right here, man, because again, it's very powerful, revelatory, nuanced, emotional, and all that. Because you can tell by the way he was conversing with him, particularly towards the end of this scene, how you could see in his eyes and in the tone of his voice that what that question that his son answered kind of triggered him because he felt he actually felt like his son wasn't getting that love that he wanted to get from his father. Again, that's why again, man, that older generation of blacks and others back then, again, they had love for their children. They were again, they just didn't really know how to express it. And again, they were all about action speaking louder than words. And now, why I do agree with that stance, I do agree with that because you should show your children to example of how much they love you by all the things they do for you instead of and not to take that for granted. But you should also tell your children that you should love them too, right? Tell them that you love them, that you're proud of them, because it gives them self assurance of self esteem, right? And especially when and especially that it's coming from those closest to them. So I understand, yeah, understand that at home it all starts in the house and it starts in the home in regards to how you raise your children to prepare them for when they step out into the real world, while at the same time giving them that loving, nurturing that all children need. And just because some parents didn't get that themselves when they were growing up within their households with their parents doesn't mean that their children should have to suffer the same thing, man. That's what keeps the generational curse still going. And that's why as an adult, as a parent, it has to be on you to end that curse once and for all. All right. So that way things can go a lot better and a lot smoother. But anyway, again, that's it for the scene. Um, again, very powerful, revelatory, and Denzel did a hell of a job, not just starring in this movie, but also directing it. So that's my time. That's a wrap. Peace.